Hi everybody, and welcome to episode 8 of AndersMill Knits. I'm your host, Emily, and you can find me on Ravelry and Instagram. On Ravelry is aka Millie, and on Instagram is aka Millie907. Welcome to my couch, everybody. I decided to give this one another try because I really liked the lighting in here. And so, to me, as I'm sitting in here, I feel it's a little gloomy, but strangely enough, when I see it reflected back in the camera, it's actually pretty good. So, I want to thank everybody who's a returning viewer. I really appreciate you guys coming back and giving me another shot. And for all of you newbies, welcome to the weirdness. That is the podcast. Sorry, I pushed record and I realized I needed to go over to the group to lock a thread because Happy New Year! It's the end of 2016. I'm recording this on January 31st, and this will be, by the time you guys see it, it will be 2017. So that means that another month has come to a close in the group. And so the, what's it called? The thread for the December double dip cal, or the cal, is going to come to a close. And we had 16, because I'm on the 17. We had 17 entries in that. So, you know, I'm already in this, so why don't I go to random.org, and let's find out what somebody won. So, as you guys may recall, I have to go through all this stuff. This last month, our wonderful friends at, ironically, Friends in Fiber, donated a skein of yarn. That is this beautiful neutral yarn to the podcast. And so that's where you can find them on Etsy as Friends in Fiber. I hope that's showing up because I can't see the screen. And I just love this neutral. I have a really good picture of it. I mean, this shines in natural light. It just... So I have a really good picture of it on our the thread for this month of the double dip cal, and I apologize, it's kind of a little wonky because it was kind of all squished up in the prize bag. But so she has this, and it came with a lovely lavender satchel, and she even included a few stitch minders. I don't really call those stitch markers. I guess they could be called stitch holders. But anyway, so that's the price for for December of 2016. So let me see. I'm at random.org, and I'm putting in numbers 2 through 17. And hitting generate. We got number... Oh, let's see if I can do this. Oh, number 9. I'm gonna get my face out of it. I don't know if that works. So anyway, number 9. Let's see here. That's number 10. Oh, and number 9 is, let's see, Anvita A. Sinha 1. And she's from New Delhi, India. And her prize, she won this. She knit this beautiful shawl. She entered into the Sam from Knit Run Dig is hosting a year-long shawl-along cal. All the details can be found in her link, and it's running through April 1st of 2016, from April 1st, 2016 to March 31st, 2017. This is really good knowledge, guys, because in January, we're going to have another double dip cal thread, and you can enter into that. So she says, I've already submitted a few shawl FOs in the preceding months there, but here's her latest one. So let's see if I can't show off. Can you see that? Just a little bit. Oh, I'm shaking the camera. It's gorgeous. So, Um, and Vita, I am so sorry. I know I'm pronouncing it wrong. From New Delhi, if you would please PM me with your address. I'm going to forewarn you that I have never, to my knowledge, shipped international. So I have no idea how this goes. I have no idea how long it would take to get you, and I also have no idea how much that would cost. But it's like, this is 4 ounces. It's got to be easy, right? I don't even know about customs. So, we shall learn together. So that's exciting. And so later on today, after I'm done recording, I'm going to open up our first double dip cow thread for 2017. And for that, I have something that I've been holding on for a long time and have really, really wanted to knit it. And yet, I know that I'm never going to. So I want to pass it on to you guys. Because there's no point in carrying this around. I don't even know when I got this. It's from Knit Picks. It's a beautiful kit to knit a sock monkey. Oh, man, I wish I had the... My husband would probably really like this. But anyway, so it's from Knit Picks, and it comes with all the stroll fingering weight that is needed for the pattern. You are going to need to get things like safety eyes, and it probably, I don't know, embroidery thread, it looks like, to finish the face up. But I trust that you guys will be able to handle that. And this is deep stash. I probably got this, who knows, 2009, 8, 7? A long, long time ago. So, but, let's see, and, so there's 50 gram hanks in there. And I don't know how many yards are in each hank. And I'm not going to open this because it's so beautifully, I mean, it's not beautifully packaged, but it's nice and protected in this. So I'm going to open the Double Dip Cow thread for 2017, January. And in that, just a reminder, you can enter in to win that prize by showing us what you've been working on with other cows from other people. It can be a podcaster, a blogger, just somebody on Ravelry that's holding a cow. There we go. There's our last prize giveaway for 2016 and the announcement of our first prize giveaway of 2017. I want to thank everybody who's donated to the prizes for 2016. That was extremely generous of you. And you know, honestly speaking, you create something and you should be compensated for that creation. And so I think it's a real testament to knitters everywhere that those makers who are also dyeing up yarn, sewing bags, knickknacks of all kinds, bling your string, as they say, you know, the stitch markers and all of that. I think it's a real testament that you guys are so generous of heart that you would provide prizes like this. And, you know, and I really want to share the love too, so I've been coming up with things from my stash as well. So, and then if anybody else wants to donate as well, you can get in contact with me via Ravelry and let me know, and we can work something out. So just PM me, again, aka Millie. Okay, so we're back, and if you hear a weird noise, that's my dog. He's on my lap, or sitting beside me, I should say, and he's groaning. So, the next segment is reviewing notes. So, 2 weeks have come and gone, and during that 2 weeks, since I've really sat down and talked to you guys, we've had the big major holiday of Christmas. And, Christmas was different this year. You say, how so, Emily? You didn't just get married last month, so, you know, how could it be different? The year before this, my guy and I actually had our first Christmas together, and we did a lot of things because we really concentrated on spending time with each other, and we were really excited about each other, and so we did things like we drove around looking at Christmas lights and singing carols to each other, and we walked down the street here in Portland called Peacock Lane, where it's actually apparently an ordinance that if you own a house on Peacock Lane, you have to decorate for the holidays and you have to put out lights. And so it's just a magical place when you're walking down it. Then we went to the zoo lights, not once, but twice, maybe even 3 times. I'm not sure. And we did, and on Christmas Eve last year, we went antiquing and found our first addition to our Christmas village. And so this year, coming into it, we thought, sure, all of that's going to happen. We're going to spend all this time together. We're going to have, because of course we're married now. We live in the same house now. We're in each other's company nonstop. But things just didn't work out that way this year. Things got really hectic. Like I say this every week, but things were really hectic at work. I got a lot of new clients and a lot of traveling had to go on, and I was just always so tired. My bad leg was hurting an awful lot. My guy was tired from working a lot, and then his son came back from boot camp, and so we wanted to spend Christmas Eve with him. And so things that we thought would happen just like last year didn't. We actually had to seriously sit down and say, okay, this night we are going to go to zoo lights. We are making a concerted effort and putting aside this time, and that's all there is to it. And so we did that. But we never got to Peacock Lane. Things kind of happened on Christmas Eve that made it difficult for us to get out to go antiquing. Plus, people closed really early on Christmas Eve, obviously. And so we never got to go antiquing for a second house in our Christmas village. We didn't drive around and look at Christmas lights really either. We kept on meaning to, but we were always just so tired. So we would just come back to the house, and Chris would make a fire for us, and I would sit by the fire. And most nights, I wasn't even knitting. It got so bad that I'll show you in a minute. My FOs, my Advent calendar FOs, I got so far behind. I was still catching up on Christmas Day. And it's just how things rolled. But then Christmas Day happened. Christmas Eve was just magical with him, and that's a really fond memory for me. And then Christmas Day was Sunday, and so I haven't been going to church very often. I've been working on my spirituality, or maybe ignoring my spirituality. Okay, Emily, tell the truth. Yeah, kind of. And but I really, really wanted to be at church on Sunday because we're celebrating Christ's birth. And it just seemed really important to me that we be there together. Now, my husband is not, I don't know if he would say he's not a Christian, but he doesn't belong to any church. And so it was a real sacrifice on his part to say, yeah, I'll go to church with you. Not just any old day, but actually Christmas Day, and I was really cognizant of that. And so we woke up, but he was gung-ho for it, and we woke up and realized that his clothes were not ready, so he didn't have anything to wear. So we wore our PJs, our Christmas PJs, to church, because I wasn't going to have him feeling odd man out. So and nobody said anything. It was amazing. Like, everybody kind of smiled, and I could tell somebody else was kind of giggling about it, but nobody was looking at us derogatorily. I think I said that right. And nobody was quizzing us, or really nobody really even talked to us, because nobody knows us there right now, because this is a new church for us. But it was really lovely. It set the tone for the rest of the day, really, honestly. The speakers were great. The music was great. Oh my gosh, and I loved when the children sang. Oh my gosh, that was so beautiful. And then we came home, and I had prepped some cut-up cheese and salami with crackers, and because I knew we were going to be starving by the time we got home. And so we gathered that and our Christmas presents up, and so we were snacking on crackers and cheese and opening up our stockings and our presents, and we had a really good time. I loved everything my guy got me, and Santa got me. He got me a Fitbit, and I love it. Today it's 1:30, and I've done 3,386 steps today, which is about a mile and a half. 2,000 steps is about a mile. So my goal, I used to have a Fitbit a few years ago, and I would regularly do 10,000 steps. And I realized that that was the time where I lost the most of my weight. I think I lost like 20 pounds. And I still have about 16 pounds to go for me. I want to weigh about 160. So I have about 16 more pounds that I would like to lose. I wouldn't mind losing more, but I think 160 is a reasonable weight. But I've gone kind of stagnant, and my exercising has gone way down, and my motivation is just flown out the window. Well, it's only been a week since he's gotten my Fitbit, and I've already gotten myself, one day I've already done over 8,000 steps. One day I was really sick. We don't know what was wrong with me, but I had these literally stabbing pains in my belly. I wasn't throwing up, nothing. I could eat perfectly fine. Like, I had an appetite, but I just had these horrible stabbing pains in my belly. And so that day I only did like 2,500 steps. And that was just me going out and seeing clients and everything. So it's kind of sad. But anyway, for the most part, my goal is to right now be at about 8,000 every day, and to work myself back up to 10,000 steps and see how that goes, along with some other life changes that I'm making that we talked about a little bit last time, about like diet and things like that. So, peach iced tea, yeah. Made from the Keurig that we were given when we moved into this apartment by the apartment complex. We thought that was odd, but okay, you want to give us a Keurig, we'll take it. We don't drink coffee, but we find things to make. He loves to make hot chocolate out of it. I digress. The present for me was I got him an inversion table. Chris, is that right?
What?
I got you an inversion table?
Yep.
Okay, I got him an inversion table. The world, Chris's voice, the world. I don't think he'll ever actually be on here, but... And then, oh, this is not the one. And then I have a goal each year. I bought him a bunch of other things, but they were all very, what's the word? Practical. Because my man is a very practical man. I also made him a blanket. I have a goal every year of making him something homemade. So last year I made him our Christmas stockings. So we have matching Christmas stockings, just the colors are inversed. And so his says Heart Chris in green, and then the rest of the stocking is in red and white snowflakes. And mine has the banner of Heart Emily in red, and the rest of it is in green and white snowflakes. So, and they're kind of on the smaller size. I really enjoyed making those, so I wouldn't put it past me to make another pair. And I think what I would probably do this time is sorry, I keep looking over at the fireplace because we hung them back up, and so I'm looking at it. I'd probably go ahead and knit, like, take worsted weight and double strand it, and double it up and knit it there. So it'd be this weird kind of bulky weight, but you know. Anyway, so this year, I knew I didn't have much time, and I didn't have much energy, but I wanted really badly to make him something, and he does love blankets. Loves blankets. So I decided I was going to make him. I picked this. They're little polar bears with penguins, and then the backing was supposed to be this gray. What ended up happening, actually, is that instead of being able to do fat squares, oh man, this is not gonna work, is that I made strips. So on the front of the blanket is the majority of the blanket, 90% of the blanket is the polar bears, and then there's just this one little strip, of gray going down. This is lengthwise, okay? Then on the reverse side, I did the same thing with the polar bears up here and the gray down here. And the reason why I did this is because in order to make the blanket big enough, I had to actually cut into the polar bears to make further length, or width, I should say. Width, yes. But by doing that, the polar bears were then going to go, okay, so here's the back, and here's the front. So see, the polar bears go this way on the front, and they go up and down on the back. I wasn't going to have that on the front, so I ended up, this is also a finished project. Oh my gosh, things are just all over the place today. So I ended up just making things up, and he loves it. It's lovely and soft. All I didn't quilt anything. I still intend to go back in and do a few, take a few threads of yarn and stitch places together so that when we do wash it, like, the fabric won't come apart and get all wonkadoo. But he loves it. He uses it every single night. And so that was his big homemade present. To end it up, Christmas Day was really lovely. I've got a lot of footage from the zoo lights and just Christmas Day that I'll put in at the end. We had a lovely time. Oh my gosh, I forgot to mention, he bought me a new Cadillac of an office chair. Oh, is it gorgeous? And so comfortable, because my bad leg, he notices that I limp a lot, so he wanted to get me that. So anyway, so I'll put those videos in at the end, but I made breakfast for dinner, and then we watched National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, which is one of our favorites, and had another fire, and I knit, or tried to knit, on my Christmas Day cast-on, which we will talk about in a few minutes. But first, let's go into the next segment. Okay, so let's get into case notes, shall we? So, let's just begin by saying Happy New Year! I have confetti as a finished object. I just want to say, I am so glad that my advent calendar knitting is done. I don't know that I can do that again. Which is funny, because I've just been thinking about, oh, wouldn't it be lovely if I made 24 stockings and sweaters, and there was something else, mittens, and sent them to my siblings this year. They each get a set, and sorry, Watson needs his squeaker. And they would each get a set, and that they could open each day of Christmas. Like, am I stupid or something? I just can't do this again. I literally can't. I really enjoyed knitting. Oh, they're falling. My little teeny tiny stockings. But I'm not doing it again. Ever, ever, ever. Well, no. Famous last words, right? So I have 24 mini stockings, and this one was a funky one, and I'm not gonna go through all the yarn, but just know that it mainly came from No Makers and Socks That Rock, with a little bit of Friends in Fiber thrown in here and there. Let me go back to my notes so I can tell you. The pattern is called Mini Christmas Stocking Ornaments. It's free, so that's Mini Christmas Stocking Ornaments. Emily, put it right down here, please. By Julie Williams. And on my project page, I've got all of the lists of all the different yarn bases I use. Oh yeah, and Gail's art. I also use Gail's art. And so these are just a few of them. That's figgy pudding or something like that, by No Makers. Can't remember the exact name of it. But yeah. Watson. So the heel here is by Friends and Fiber, and then the rest is by No Makers. So I have 24 of these, and I was knitting my last one on Christmas Day because I got 5 days behind the last week. So I had, in each stocking, you knit flat and then seam up, and each stocking total takes an hour and a half, and that's with me having it memorized. So, but it's worth it because, okay, let me show you. So this is how I would normally knit a stocking. This is just me doing a normal stocking, and then this is the pattern. Let's get a better one. Let's choose this one maybe. So here's the stocking. Look at the shape definition in hers versus mine. Right? No contest. So we have one, the very first day I did this one, and I'm not going to rip it out because I can't stand to knit another one, but the rest of them are all out of that same pattern, and now they're done. So, and that's not the only stocking that's done, and yeah, I know that it's there. I'm leaving it. It's a decoration, but I've got actually a couple of them on my boobs. But I also finished on Christmas Day my Christmas stockings from Gail's art. So this is the colorway Under the Christmas Tree. I knit my standard plain vanilla sock, which is 1 inch rib of 1 by 1 rib on 60 stitches, and then I go down for 6 stitches, and then I do the heel. And now this time I wanted to do the heel flap, but so I'm a flat-footed gal, and so I don't really need a heel flap for it to fit correctly. But I love heel flaps, so I've just decided I'm gonna knit a shallower heel flap, and holy cow, do those things fly! So I knitted out of contrasting yarn, not on purpose, but because I actually misplaced my red when I got to the second one, so it was a happy accident. But I do wish I'd done the heel turn. I don't know what I wasn't thinking, but since I didn't do it on the first one, I wasn't going to do it on the second one. But anyway, so this was knit from a sock blank. I don't know where I think I put it back on in my scrap bag now. So I won't be buying any more sock blanks. I love the look of them and everything, and yeah, I could buy one from Andre Sue Knits and hang it on my wall and become perfectly content because that is art. But knitting with it, not my cup of tea. I found it too fiddly. So, Watson, shh, sweetheart, it's just a car. There you go. That was my second finished objects. All socks. Oh, no. So, okay, so that was finished objects as far as knitting goes. But then, of course, we have like the blanket for my guy that I already showed you. And then I also made a blanket for my dog, Watson. And this one was super simple. I literally got 3 yards, cut it in half, and sewed them together of fleece. And he loves this. Look, there's even a poodle on it. And it's Scotty Dog. I really want a Scotty Dog. In fact, I'm a little chilly, so I'm going to put it on. But I made this in an afternoon or less. And I still also intend to go back through and sew in some of those yarny doodads so that the fabric stays together even when you wash it. But it was intended to be a blanket form for the car. However, yeah, I'm talking about you. However, he loves to get under the covers when we go to bed. He's done this ever since I got him. he loves to be warm and just wrapped up in this cocoon and have his head covered and all this. One of the things he likes to do is put his head underneath my arm, and I hold him like this. It probably looks like I'm abusing him, but he puts his head there. He likes it. So Christmas night, we were going to bed, and my guy obviously doesn't like it when Watson gets under the covers because, hello, dirty dog, under the covers on our sheets? That should not be a thing, and I agree with him. I am just a pushover when it comes to my dog. So, the first night we went to bed after I gave Watson this, and Watson got a lot of toys, a lot of goodies, stuff like that, for Christmas. Most of the presents under the tree were for Watson. Anyway, I took this to bed with us, and I just did what I normally do with the covers, except what I did it with the blanket. I just kind of lifted it up like I was inviting him in, and he came around and he crawled in under, and I put the blanket on him, and he stayed the whole night, just like that, curled up under there. And that's how it's been every night since then. And to tell you the truth, I have 2 other homemade blankets in the car, so we don't really need this one. Apparently I like blankets too, so I just decided to make it for him because I wanted to make Watson something. I like making him things. So there you go. He's got something. So those are my Watson FOs. Well, okay, and one more thing. I also made Watson homemade dog cookies. Watson is very excited because I got them. Yes, I know, sweetheart. Yes. So I put half of them in this jar, and this was in his stocking. Oh, he's smelling. Oh, yes. Yeah, just 1 second. I'm going to show them, and then I'll give you one. Okay, so this one right here. Oh, look in the chops. This one is an ornament cookie cutter. This little sucker, 45 minutes to bake. But it's so dense. Yeah, I know, sweetheart. I know. Can you be gentle and wait? Yeah. Say hi to everybody. Oh, okay, hold it. I did not say you could have it. Oh no, he's gonna eat it on the couch. It's gonna get all over the couch. Okay, so then there was also Christmas presents. It didn't get all over the couch. These things surprisingly do not make a lot. Oh my gosh, that smells so good. Oh, that cinnamon and that pumpkin. These do not make a lot of crumbs. So, sorry, this one has a little bit of flour on it because I had to use flour to roll it out on the cookie sheet. So, there's no flour in the recipe, just so that I could roll it out. If people want the recipe, I'd love, yeah, we can share it. And if you guys have cool recipes, like I know Simply Stashless, I think you make all kinds of cool stuff. You like dry fruits and maybe vegetables for your animals. You can't have any more. We have to piece parcel them. So because pumpkin is so good for digestion, I only allow Watson to have 4 of these a day. So that's his second one for today. So he has to wait now. Poor guy. Oh, yeah. He's gonna now sit and stare at that. So that was my last finished object. That did take me almost an entire day, and I made too much. So we plan on going over and visiting my brother in his house, and they have a new dog. So I think we'll bring some over to them because I don't think that they'll last very long, like maybe a month. So I put the rest in the refrigerator to try and keep it fresh. Leave it. Thank you. Okay, so that's it for finished objects. Let's move on to the next. Okay, so let's talk about in session. What's on my needles? I have something, oh my gosh, that I just love. This was my Christmas Day cast on. And the day I cast it on, it was a nightmare. I cast this bad boy on, I think actually 3 times. I should probably just go with twice, but no, 3 times. I really did cast it on 3 times. And each time I cast it on, I twisted the knitting. So I continuously had a Mobius. And I would rip it out, and I would start again, and I would twist it, and have a Mobius, and so I'd have to rip it out. So finally, about 3/4 of the way through National Lampoon, yeah, that tells you how much I was paying attention to my knitting anyway. I just threw it on the coffee table and said, okay, fine, I'll wait. So I did, and I waited until the day after Christmas morning, and I got up at my normal time. I'm one of those people that goes to bed at 10, goes to sleep at about 10:45, gets up at, well, now that I work from home, I get to get up at 7 if I want. Most of the time I get up earlier than that, but like I can get up at 7 and still have a really productive day because I have no commute. Unless I go out and see some clients, but that's part of my working day anyway, so I don't have to count that in my commute. So anyway, I digress. So I got up at 7 or maybe a little earlier, the day after Christmas. Oh, okay. Just need to keep that. And I recast on with no distractions, no TV, no music. Watson and my guy were still sleeping, so nothing. It was just me and my knitting. And I cast it back on, and voila! Everything was coming up roses. So, before I show you the project, I will show you my yarn combination, which, when you see them separated, might be a little startling. Oh, don't blow out. Let's do it this way. Yes. Dark, deep teal blue. Oh my gosh, that is so washing out. There you go, right there. But that still isn't very vibrant compared to how it is in real life. This is very vibrant. And then the Sugar Plum Fairies colorway came from Dancing Dog Dye Works. And yes, this is part of my toolbox. But everything's mixed up today in the podcast, so do I care? No. So I combined these two to knit a hat. And I will show you the grayed out version. I've had this hat in my library. Oh, you can't see a darn thing. I've had this hat in my library for at least since the summer. It's called the Jella hat. Jella. And it's really cool. You take two strands, two different colorways, and just with a very simple slip stitch, you create this gorgeousness that you see before. Oh, please don't wash out. I did it differently than what's in the pattern, and I'll explain that in a second. But doesn't it? Okay, I don't know that this is coming out very well, but to me this looks like a window, a stained glass window with the lead around it. The lead being, in this case, the turquoise, and the stained glass being the Sugar Plum Fairies colorway. So you knit this for a certain amount of time, and then you switch to stocking net for the rest. So it's kind of combining the best worlds of sockhead hat with a little bit more. And I love this. Now, these two are very different compositions when it comes to yarn. This is a light fingering, this is a heavy fingering, but it works. It works great. I am very pleased with it. And then when you stretch it out some, it just is magical still. Oh, come on. Anyway, so I've been working on this a lot. So, sorry, that's a thing my guy and I do. For some reason, we say a lot. When we say that word. So there you go. So I knit the turquoise is from Tumbleweed Yarns, and it's in the Alpaca Light colorway. Now on Ravelry, she has a colorway just called Alpaca, so I don't know why this one is called Lite, but there you go. And the other one is Dancing Dog Dye Works in her Superwash Wool Merino and Nylon base, in the Sugar Plum Fairies colorway. This is my first Dancing Dog Dye Works. I've wanted one for years, but have never caught an update. And I didn't technically catch an update this time. I actually just caught a pre-order. So, because she posted it on Instagram, yes! And I was paying attention that day, yes! So, I fully intend to have this done probably by the end of this weekend because I want to wear this bad boy so bad. And I've been thinking about this, and I love this stitch pattern so well that I was kind of thinking of taking it and extending it and making it into a cowl with the leftovers, but I don't know if I'll have enough leftovers. I want to think that I will. We'll see. Once the hat's done, I'll take stock again and see if I can pull that off. So that's that, and that's living once again because I love my bag from my sister that she made me. So then, my next thing, I literally cannot recall what you saw the last time on these, so I'm just going to show you where it's at. And, oh, that hat's knit on US size 3 needles, and I'm using my Haya interchangeables for that. I love Haya. So, the next thing on my needles is my husband's by the bed socks. So I'm knitting 2x2 ribbing. I haven't done 2x2 ribbing, and I haven't done a full cuff of 2x2 ribbing in heaven knows how long. But I'm hoping this will go well. We have discovered on his last pair of socks that really the problem with that last pair of socks is actually the cast-on edge. He's having a difficult time getting that over his ankle or heel. He does have a very high arch, like ridiculously high arch. So, the next pair of socks I'm going to make him, and maybe even the companion to this sock, is going to be toe up. But I was knitting him a heel flap, but he really loves the Fish Lips Kiss heel that I did on his last sock. So I'm actually thinking I'm going to tear this out, because this is ready for me to pick up the gusset. I think I'm going to tear this out and do the Fish Lips Kiss heel, but I'm thinking I'm going to continue the ribbing, but switch to 1x1 ribbing maybe? Or maybe I'll just do 2x2 ribbing until the end of the sock and just have it stocking net at the bottom, on the foot, on the ground part. Why didn't I think of that? Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Here I was thinking I was going to design this whole cool thing like it was like never been done before. Because in my head, I was thinking, okay, where's my other socks? Okay, so pretend this is a Fish Lips Kiss heel, okay? And I was thinking to create the mock gusset that I was thinking of is that I would just make ribbing right here on either side. And that way that part would be stretchy and we'd be good, right? I still think that's a good idea if you don't want to do ribbing down the whole length of the foot. But I think actually I am going to do the ribbing all the way down. I like that idea. Maybe I'll work on putting that other idea into action on my next pair of socks, which I don't know yet are going to be. Then finally, just this morning, I finally took back out my Pure Joy shawl by Joji Locatelli, which is being housed in my Fish Lips Kiss. My Fat Squirrel Fibers bag. And I started knitting on it again. And while it's still not a pure joy for me, it's not as bad as I remember it to be. So I've knit about, this is my third wedge. Sorry, it's in my sock, my needle minder from Rusted Stitch. I've knit about 3/4 of the way through the third wedge. And so that's where I'm at. I was woefully behind in my viewing pleasure of Knit One Heart 2, and it's because the title of their last podcast from the week before Christmas scared the living bejesus out of me. It said, announcement at the end. I know what that means. It's been coming for a while. They don't talk about it, but it was coming. And I knew that it was going to be that they were discontinuing the podcast. And I was effing right. So anyway, I watched it this morning, and this is how far I got. This was all knit during an hour of watching Knit One Heart 2. This is going to be a long episode. I'm sorry about that, but there's just so much to talk about. So, I'm knitting this with my Ella Rae, what is merino lace? Lace merino. My Ella Rae lace merino. I have no idea which ones are which colorways. We have tonal LM67 and tonal and code LM56. I don't know which, but one is this peachy pink and the other is a dark navy blue. There you go. Yeah, it's not almost black, but it's lovely. And I do love it. So I'm enjoying that because I love the yarn. And I want the finished product. And I paid for the pattern. That's a stupid reason to continue knitting on something. But I did pay for it. And because everybody was raving about it. I was like, oh, that must be really fun. I don't know. I'm going to keep going. Maybe my love will change for this by the end. So that is all that's on my needles, actually. Alright guys, so what's in my toolbox? We're going to talk a little bit more about fibery goodies, Christmassy goodies, and gluttony goodies. So, for Christmas, let's first talk about fibery goodies. For Christmas, my mom sent us some money, and my guy and I decided we were each going to get $50 out of that to buy yarn. To buy... That's not what the plan was. $50 from the money she sent us, my parents sent us, to buy whatever we wanted. And of course, what do I want? Yarn. So we went to the yarn store together on the way to the Zoo Lights. And we were in there and Chris saw a skein that he wanted. I saw a number of skeins that I wanted. But also what Chris was saying, well, I wanted to get you some yarn too, so... go ahead and get all this. Because it was more than $50. So, but what I picked out, and what Chris picked out was by the same company, Toolbox. So I picked out a skein of yarn that I'm actually really surprised about because I don't like the series that it's based off of, but I love the yarn. So this colorway is called Outlander. And the main color, oh, that's being washed out too. The main color is a soft, muddy rose pink, which sounds disgusting. It's like a grayish rose pink, but it's really beautiful. And then, pardon me, and then speckled throughout is hunter green, burgundy, blue, orange, gold. I mean, it's just amazing. It's gorgeous. Oh man, I love this. So, and that, I really wanted that. I wanted another one that was by, never mind, I can't remember. But it reminded me of this. But I really wanted this, so I got it. And then my guy saw a skein of stargazing, and he wants another pair of socks. Oh man, this is not gonna work. Because you need to be, okay, there's the green. See it? See the green? And there's some purples and a little splashes of black and this deep blue. Oh, it's so beautiful. And he wants another pair of socks out of this. Now this is 75% superwash merino wool and 25% nylon. And I didn't realize that this was superwash wool. I want really badly not to buy superwash anymore, period. I don't like what it does. The process of making superwash, this is interesting. The process of making superwash is very harmful to the environment, I've been told, and I just want to be a little bit more conscious about that. But this is weird because both of these skeins are out of Twist Light, and we noticed that they had two different tags on it, but I just realized that Chris's skein is 75% superwash merino, and this is Twist Light, but mine is 75% merino and 25% nylon. So, maybe that's why. I don't know very much about Toolbox. I think I have another skein of this stargazing somewhere, but I couldn't promise Chris that I did, and so he's like, well, I'm getting it anyway then. Then I bought myself some US size 1 double pointed needles, and the reason for that will become clear in a few minutes when I finish talking about my toolbox. Then also, I've been wanting to have just some little mini skeins around to do heels, toes, cuffs, all of the above. So Knitted Wit is pretty big here. She's pretty much a rock star here in Portland. So I got 2 skeins of each of these 4 colorways of her bubblegum gobstoppers, Smarties minis. And these each have 45 yards. That's the reason why I bought 2. Watson, no. So this is Key Lime Pie. This is aptly named Purple. Wonder why. This is Turks and Caicos. That's pretty. And this is Study How, maybe. H-A-U? I don't know. Anyway, but I like them. They're very vibrant. And I'm gonna use them to brighten up some of my sock knitting here and there. So then, on top of that, let me go to Ravelry really quick because I want to show you. Gotta turn on my thing. There we go. So on top of that, my best friend sent me patterns this year for my Christmas present. And so she sent me 3 patterns. And let's see, let's go. The first one, oh, come on. I want to actually go. Watson's come back to join us. I don't know if you guys saw him. Okay, so the first one is a shawl that I've had in my queue for a while now. It's called Nutmeg. And let's go to full screen. Okay. You guys can't see that at all. I mean, you can see it, but you can't see the detail. The detail is gorgeous. It's got leaves and baubles and lace. It's a very interesting pattern. So she sent me that, and I'm very excited about all of these. 2017 will see me knitting all 3 of the patterns that she gifted me. Then, let's see. Oh, nope, that's not it. Then she sent me the reason why I bought the double points. So let's go. These socks are called Curling Tendrils, and they're very beautiful. I actually have knit myself a pair of socks out of this colorway by, colorway by Hazel Knits, who I love. Personally, Hazel Knits is probably one of my all-time favorite yarn dyers. Can you see? So these socks have to be knit on double points. Pretty much have to, because there is a traveling stitch technique around the sock. So curls around the leg of the sock and from the foot up through the leg. And if I was doing magic loop or even 2 circs like I usually do, I'd constantly, according to the instructions on the pattern, I would constantly be needing to move my stitches around from needle to needle, which is very annoying when you're doing double points. And I mean, not double points, magic loop and stuff. So, and the last one, that's the reason why I bought the double points. The last one is really exciting. She got me the Portage sweater. Oh, come on. Stop reflecting. There you go. Look at those pockets. Then, wait, though, because you guys can't see the back from right there. So, look at the back detail. Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to bump the camera. Holy crap, am I excited about this. So anyway, I have some yarn. Man, oh man, my brain is gone. I have some yarn from Dragonfly Fiber Arts. that is kind of in that colorway, honestly. It's blue, I mean, it's brown with variegated brown, but it's very, very subtle variegation. And I think I'm going to actually knit it out of that. I have got a sweater's quantity in that, so I think I'm going to do it. I think that sweater pattern calls for worsted. Ooh, I hope so. It'd be nice to knit a worsted weight sweater. I have never knit a worsted weight sweater for myself. This right here, this shrug is called Easy by Zandy Peters. I believe it's free. Nope, it's paid for. But it's a fun pattern, and I actually intend to knit it again, doing like the contrasting colors like she did here. But anyway, I like this, but it's too. I know they're a lot bigger than. Okay, I'll stop because that looks so gross. Okay, sorry. Stop it, Emily. Okay, but anyway. I intend to knit it up a little bit bigger because this is knit a little too small in the fact that it actually looks big on me. And the reason why it looks big is because the band here can't go over my chest like it's supposed to. So there's all this fabric down here because it has to come out to the sides. So it actually looks big on me. But if I actually knit the correct size and it could go over my chest like it's supposed to, then we wouldn't have this problem. So I don't know that I'm going to go up one needle, one size when I knit this again, or if I'm just going to go up a needle size. I really like the drape of this. But anyway, so, and this is the fingering weight sweater. My sweater for my wedding was fingering weight. I've got 2 fingering weight sweaters on the needles right now that I'm going to be finishing up in 2017. And for heaven's sakes, I'd like to knit myself a worsted weight sweater because I'm not a small gal. And knitting a fingering weight sweater for me is like, takes me a year and a day. So, yeah, so I plan on doing that with Portage if it's a actual worsted weight sweater. Then the last 2 things that I wanted to share with you are things that I actually bought myself. One, because as soon as I knew that this person was coming out with this book, I had to get it because she's one of my favorite authors in writing. She's not one of my favorite people. I was very disappointed when I met her in person, and I think it's mainly because she's just very shy. That's what I'm going to go with. But Julia Quinn, I love historical romances, and I'm not going to make any bones about it. I also love all kinds of other genres too. I love mysteries, I love classicals. But Julia Quinn, she's one of my favorite romance writers, and I prefer historicals. I actually really am interested in historicals that are set in Victorian times, but those are only now becoming popular. Most of the time when they're historical romance, they're usually set in Regency. So so Julia Quinn just came out with this short story compilation with other people that some of them I like and some of them I haven't heard of. Laura Lee Gurka, I think I'm saying her name right. She's hilarious. I love her. So is Julia Quinn, but yeah, she's still laugh out loud. Elizabeth Boyle, hit and miss. She tends to write a lot of historical romances from back in the late 1700s. Anyway, so she usually writes about that time, and not really my thing. And then Stephanie Sloane I had never heard of, and she's actually the first short story in the book. It's very predictable, and she's forcing it a little bit. Like, I feel like the connection between the 2 characters happened way too quickly, and also like it's just like she's forcing this to happen because she knows she's writing a short story, and boy must have girl by the end, and it's just I'm struggling with it, and it's a trope that's been used to death. Young girl doesn't want to get married. She's almost 21. Doesn't want to get married, but is forced to because of circumstances. And he says he wants her for his own, but he knows that can never be. I love how they use that term. It can never be. such finality and so much drama. But he wants to be with her, and so he says, well, I'll help you find a husband. But everybody that she suggests, he finds a reason to say no. I mean, come on now. That storyline has been used so many times. Come up with something a little bit more original. However, it is cute. Laura Lee Gurka is the third, and Julia Quinn is the fourth author and the fourth story in there. And they did that on purpose because they knew people were going to read the entire book just to get to the end where Julia Quinn writes. And they were right. Because that's exactly what I'm going to do. So I am actually enjoying it still. I'm enjoying it. Then I also pre-ordered my other favorite historical romance author, or just romance author period, is Lisa Kleypas. Kleypas. And she has a book coming out in February. So I've pre-ordered that. So there you go. But the last thing that I purchased that I'm pretty excited about is a series of books that are journals by subject that I got at Michael's on an extremely good deal. So I justified it. So one of them is entitled Goals. I don't know if you can read it, but inside there's just these series of books. So see, there's different colors. And I think you're supposed to put them into a day planner, but I don't think that's going to happen. But the goals for the current month, the weekly goals, reasons why I want to be blankety blank, reasons why I try, reasons I want to go someplace, and then an actual goal list, when the deadline is for them, and then a section to fill in when it's finished. So I'm going to be filling this in this weekend. Hopefully this weekend. I've got a lot of things to do for like my knitting goals and my exercise goals, things like that. Then the next one is called You Got This. I love these titles. And it's nothing. It's just dotted. It's like the bullet point journals. And I love that because this leaves me room to be creative, and I don't know what I'm going to use it for yet. Maybe designs, I don't know. Gratitude journal. I'm always talking about my clients to write a gratitude journal. And I just finished up 24 days of thankfulness/gratitude on Instagram, and I really had a good time doing that. Some days I struggled to find something that I was grateful for, and I wanted each day to be different and unique, and I don't think I accomplished that completely, but it was a really good exercise for me. And this one is literally, you'd put the date at the top, and then you list 3 things that you're grateful for. And then daily affirmations is underneath that. I am beautiful, powerful, generous, unique, creative, unstoppable, respectable, loving. So, you know. The last one is my to-do list. Watson, do I need to call Daddy in? Huh? No. So, this one is awesome because it's broken up into sections. Errands, housekeeping, emails. Oh my gosh. I always forget to email somebody, whether it's with work or personal. So this has a place for emails. It's not enough, but phone calls I need to make, appointments and activities, things I need to buy, business related, miscellaneous. Holy crap, is this going to be useful? So this is actually going to be my go-to for 2017. But I've told myself that I can't use this until 2017 because I have this thing. So I can start using it tomorrow. So those are in my toolbox. And I know we've been a long time. This is a long episode, but one more segment and you'll be surprised. One second. Okay, so our last section of the episode, and I know it's a long one. I might try to edit a little bit, but you know, our last section is called consultation. This is an oldie but a goodie. We haven't actually had this since the first or second episode. But I wanted to talk to you a little bit about what 2017 means to me and will continue to mean to me. I am not a resolution kind of gal. I find them constricting, and there's a lot of weight associated with the resolutions. Like, for instance, the losing weight thing. That's my just being healthy. I rephrase that. I just want to live a healthy lifestyle, and that's a lifelong goal rather than a yearly resolution that I can then fall off the wagon on and beat myself up for, and then go get depressed about. I'm not going to do that. I don't do that to myself because I know myself. So instead, what I do for the last couple years is, 3 years maybe 4, I think of a theme for the year. Last year, it was to embrace vulnerability. And I actually wrote a blog post earlier this week talking about 2016 versus 2017 and my theme for 2017. So if you would like to read more about like what it meant for me to live vulnerably and to embrace vulnerability, and believe me, 2016 was a big year for that. I think I very much succeeded in my theme. But this year, I've been contemplating for the last month or more, I think maybe since my wedding, what I want this year to be for me, what I want to have in my life. And I came to the conclusion that I want to live intentionally. I guess some people could call it living mindfully, but for me, mindfulness is like this kind of a plane, and I'm down here. And I've tried really hard and continuously to live mindfully. And like the resolutions, I find that I almost get there, and then and I beat myself up each time. So for me, the living intentionally gives me the leeway that I could indeed make that plateau of mindfulness, but it's more manageable to me. What does living intentionally mean, though? For me, that means that I focus my energies and my efforts on one thing at a time. I don't multitask. I'm trying to be more organized and intentional about what I do. And there are a myriad of subjects and ways in which I can do this, and I won't go into all of that now. I go into a teensy bit of it in the blog post, but the reason why I don't go into it a lot is because I'm going to make a series of blog posts about different subjects. And I've got way more than 12, so I don't know if I'm going to do a subject a month, or maybe I'll do a couple, but I kind of like the idea of only doing one subject, concentrating on one thing a month, because I really want to put all of my focus and energy into that one thought. For instance, January is going to be the obvious. I'm going to focus my intentions and energies on my knitting and crafting life and what that means to me, where I want to be taking myself into the future with this. What are things that I've wanted to do but haven't done? How can I be more intentional in my knitting? Very thoughtful, like maybe I don't knit when I'm watching TV, or maybe I do knit when I'm watching TV, but then I find time where it's just me and my knitting. Like the other morning when I just had me and my knitting, I figured out that hat, and I didn't twist the brim, nothing, and it was peaceful, and my I concentrated on that, but then also my mind was free to contemplate situations and problems that have been rolling around in my head for a while now. And it was very freeing. What do I want to learn about knitting? Or crafting in general. And so what's my intent with it? So January is going to be about that. And yes, there will be goals. Like for 2017, I'm not saying that I don't have goals. I'm just saying I don't call them resolutions. I have goals of finishing up some sweaters. I have a goal of knitting a Farrell sweater for Watson, I think. I found one I really love. I think it's by Kate Davies, and I really want to knit it. But Watson needs a sweater that actually fits him. The sweaters that I've knit for one reason or another don't really fit him very well. So yeah. I have intentions to put my goodwill out there with my knitting, to knit for charity. I don't know that's going to happen in 2017 or not, but I have a goal of knitting solely from stash. And some other things that I'm going to focus on in later months are things like social media. I want to focus for a month solely on what are my intentions, what kind of energies do I want to put into social media, and what kind of things do I want to be posting about, and really refocus on that and what that means, what social media means to me in my life and all its various forms. I count my blog and my video podcast as social media. And then there's another one like budgeting, money. What does money mean to me? Does it mean nothing? Does it mean everything? I always say that I'd rather go back to a time in which we bartered. Is that really true? What's my goal with money? For instance, my husband and I have made a very strict budget for this next year because we not only want to become debt-free this year, but, combining our two lives, we were really surprised at how much debt we individually had and then what we had now together. And we've taken that on as a team together. And we don't see one person's debt, like my debt before we were married is now our debt. It's no longer Emily's debt. And that's really amazing. And so going back to the crafting and knitting month, like knitting from stash, enjoying what I have, putting my energies into what I have, and not focusing on what I want, and being maybe a little bit envious or resentful of things and other people being able to buy things. It's so hard to be watching a podcast and them showing off all their little treasures that they bought and not being like, oh my gosh, I want that right now, and going on your phone or your computer and stalking the dyer or something and getting yourself things. That's why I have so much sweaters quantity and so on and so forth, is because I lust for things that other people have, and I don't want to live that way. I want to enjoy what I have, be my own crafter, be my own knitter, have my own individuality. And now I'm getting onto my soapbox, and I'll save that for later. But so that's my intention, funnily enough, for 2017, is to live intentionally. And I invite you to join us in that. I invite not necessarily taking on my goal, here I go using the word resolution. I don't mean to use that word, sorry. My motto, there we go. My affirmation for 2017. But what is your own? And what would 2017 mean to you? 2016 was, for me, it was just a roller coaster. And some of that was my fault. Other things were out of my control. And some of the things were just the most amazing things that have ever happened to me in my entire life. Words just can't describe. The joy that I found in 2016 and the sorrow that I encountered. So in some ways, I'm really grateful that 2016 is coming to a close. And in a lot of ways, I'm also sad and I'm grieving. But I know that 2017 is going to be exciting. And I know that it's going to bring new light and adventure into my life. So, bring it on, 2017. I'm ready for you. Thank you all for joining me. As always, I love you. And I'm so grateful that you chose to spend this time with me. I know this has been a long one, but thank you for doing that. At the end here, I'm going to have my usual montage of videos, but the music this time is actually going to be provided by my brother Eli, or Simon, sorry. He's a musician. Most of me and my siblings are. I have one brother that's an opera singer, and then Eli is more of a alternative. But he was commissioned to write a song. He wasn't paid for it. He was just asked to write a song around Christmas, and he performed it. And I think he or my sister-in-law recorded it and then sent it out to the family. And I asked him if I could use it for my ending music for this episode, and he gave me permission. So I hope you enjoy it. I think it's really beautiful and very heart-wrenching, but also heart-filling. And so I'm grateful that you guys stuck around with me through all of this, and I'll see you in a couple weeks, 10 days or so, as some other people say. But enjoy the new year, and, be happy, be joyful. That's my wish for you. Love you. Bye.
Walking under stars, this feeling comes back to me. The snow drifts on the ivy fence remind me that my moments come and go, yet he remains. All his words across the years mean much more now. His peace is here, I can't sustain, though there's a tempest in my heart to take his name. Mother Mary, thank you for the gift you brought us, gentle Savior, brother unto every soul. How can I repay this kindness in my weakness? I don't want to feel this shame. Show me I can be his brother too. I don't hear choirs or pealing bells triumphant. A lonely walk in winter's wind, it feels like ice is forming on my bones, yet he remains. All his love across the years means much more now. This moment's gone, yet I remain resolute within my breast to take his name. Holy Father, thank you for the gift you brought us, gentle Savior, brother unto every soul. How can I repay this kindness in my weakness? I don't want to feel this shame. Show me I can be his brother. Mother Mary, thank you for the gift you brought us, gentle Jesus, brother unto every soul. Holy Father, how can I repay this kindness in my